The Last Epoch launch saga appears to finally be at a true end. The developers, voiced by Last Epoch's game director Judd Kobler, responded to the entirety of the launch fiasco, the server issues, the negative reviews, and vitally, the future of the game. There's been a slew of talk in the Last Epoch and greater ARPG community about the launch of this game, all the good takes on the servers, all the bad takes on the game, and how people should be reacting during a situation like this. It has been controversial, to say the least. As always, I'm going to continue to keep it positive, paint everyone in as fair a light as possible, and read every comment and get hurt in the process. I can't help it. Travelers and exiles, welcome. I am Talkative Try. Let's talk some Last Epoch. Judd began his message to the community with a heartfelt line about the massive, humbling Last Epoch's launch had on him and the entire team. The game reached 265,000 players online at one time during the launch weekend and hit the number 39 highest concurrent user count recorded on Steam ever. Of course, that's a win for everyone involved with the game. He then responded to the numerous bug reports coming in, of which there should be plenty of hot fixes to address in the coming days and weeks, making sure to push people to use the tools in-game to report any found bugs. Then, he moved on to a bit of discussion about the most troubling issue of Last Epoch's launch: the online stability. Judd wrote, "We are excited to see the servers holding above the 200,000 concurrent users in the game at one time mark, and that scene transitions and queue times have gotten much shorter. There may still be shorter periods of downtime as we roll out updates to improve the reliability after our turbulent first weekend, where we had some unanticipated bottlenecks in our backend architecture. We will continue to make improvements here, including making social services, like adding friends, even snappier, focusing on scene-to-scene transition times, ensuring in-game chat is stable, making queues continue to flow smoother and faster, and more. We're going to put out some information about what happened at launch that caused the instability under load, but we want to focus our backend team on improvements for a while longer before we pull them off to help us write this up, and also give them some much-deserved rest after working through the weekend." To his credit, much of this is true. The developers were hard at work every single day of the launch weekend, even if updates did subside a bit beginning on Sunday. Servers were spotty and load times were drastic. Him saying turbulent is a perfect use of the word and a great description of Last Epoch's launch. Plenty of people were put off by this launch, yes, but the fact that the game is still hitting 200,000 concurrent players after the weekend is shocking indeed. It's showing legs because the meat of the game is good. The server issues should be temporary and hopefully a thing of the distant past once the first big update hits for Last Epoch. After this, he elaborated on future localization work the team is tackling to ensure the game is fully playable in all languages they intend to support. Then Judd decided to reveal a good deal about the future of Last Epoch and what 11th Hour Games is focusing on for its first large patch, 1.1. We're excited to start to share with you the future content plans we have for Last Epoch, including our next major cycle patch, 1.1. The content coming for patch 1.1 is designed specifically in two parts. The first and most important is focusing on and committing time to act on player feedback. We are wholly committed to making the best ARPG in the genre, and listening to our amazing community is a big part of that. In addition, throughout the 1.0 cycle, we intend to release quality of life and bug fix patches regularly. Secondly, as you all may know, we're going to have a heavy emphasis on expanding endgame content now that we've released 1.0. For future patches, we have plans to expand the monolith, bring great new itemization options, add more boss content, class and balance updates, campaign content, and more. For 1.1 specifically, we'll be focusing on bringing some pinnacle content or very hard fights that will give you challenges to aspire to. We'll be sharing more on this and more of what's to come in 1.1 in the not too distant future. It's worth emphasizing that EHG has a strong focus on listening to the community, as it's where our team came from, and we want to hear what you want to see in the future. We are active in our forums, Reddit, and social channels. So if you want to see something, please do voice it. You are not shouting into the void, nor do you have to amass an army to get us to take notice. We're there and ready to have conversations with you all. This truly is the best part of the update to me. The fact that 1.1 will be centered wholly around two things, player feedback and endgame, is refreshing to hear. For a game that is already rife with player quality of life, I can only dream what 1.1 might behold. Given some of Judd's responses on the Last Epoch subreddit recently, I am guessing it may involve Merchants Guild improvements, but that's just a hunch. And an instant addition to the endgame in the form of truly challenging bosses? It's great. They're even using the same term Path of Exile currently uses, Pinnacle. I'm expecting some well-designed, difficult to overcome but fair fights from these developers. They've already proven their design abilities with the bosses included in Last Epoch's current endgame, which I've finally been able to experience. They're amazing, including the boss that is essentially randomized each time you fight them. That's a novel concept. That final line from Judd, "You are not shouting into the void, nor do you have to amass an army to get us to take notice. We're there and ready to have conversations with you all," is vital as well, especially after the turbulent launch. I hope they are able to push through this rocky time and keep up this style of developer and community communication. It's an area where some developers over time have faltered. Judd followed up on the future of Last Epoch by touching on the reviews of the game, particularly on Steam. While we're continuing to receive high praise about the game itself, Steam reviews and sentiment took a heavy hit due to the initial turbulence of online services at launch. We are committed to regaining that trust by making improvements to our back-end infrastructure for this amount of load and providing a great experience for online play. We take time to read your reviews and feedback on Steam, socials, and our forum and take swift action to improve the areas that we see players are dissatisfied with. We know that seeing our Steam reviews lower than they've ever been is concerning to players who are looking forward to the future of Last Epoch. But we want to assure you that the team has always been committed to making a game you can enjoy and expect updates from for years to come. We've seen that passion reflected back at us in the community this past week, and it has bolstered our resolve to that goal even further. Last Epoch is here to stay. This is a tough one. On one hand, I understand the people who placed negative reviews on Steam during launch weekend when they bought a product and could not play it. It makes sense. They spent $35 or more, tried to log into an allegedly online and functioning game and couldn't. On the other hand, man, it's harsh to judge a studio like this with the provided context, their manpower, their budget, their experience. It all pales in comparison to numerous other games and companies in the industry who have similar launches and receive less hate. Additionally, Steam reviews do bear incredible weight in the gaming community, especially for a new developer like 11th Hour Games. This initial wave of negativity will definitely hit them hard, but if they push through, they will assuredly recover. Eventually, as long as development continues as they promise and the game stays stable, recent reviews will once again become mostly positive and all reviews will return to its glorious, mostly positive state. It's very unlikely people are going to go in, alter their negative review, and change it to a purely gameplay-based rundown of the game. Last Epoch is going to need to earn back the game's stellar gameplay and player-first reputation by remaining an excellent product and pleasing and putting the players first. My fellow travelers and exiles, thank you for all the support. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and check out the video on screen right now. You know you would like to.